Welcome back to the Ride and Laugh podcast. If you love mountain biking, you are in the right place. Picture your last group ride. You're back at the parking lot. The stoke is high. You're talking progression, tech, bikes, nutrition, fitness. That's what we do here every week on the Ride and Laugh podcast. You love bikes. We love bikes. Let's drop in. Sage, how are you today?
Man, I am having the day of my life, but also the most embarrassing moment in my life encapsulated into one.
Oh,
I don't know if I don't even know if I want to share this. I don't even know if I want to share it. All right, I'll share it. I got hit on by a beautiful woman today, and I totally screwed it up. I have no game. I have absolutely no game. She comes over to me. So for the listeners that don't know, I was married for 24 years at this point, and I've been single for the last year, and I just have no game whatsoever. This beautiful woman comes up to me. She says, I just want to let you know that I think you have a very unique look. You're beautiful, and I think you're handsome. And I replied, you too. I said, thank you. You too. Like, what is wrong with me? Terrible. Very embarrassing.
Ditto?
Yeah, I don't know what to say, Danny. I don't know what to say.
I wouldn't have any game. I wouldn't have any game after 24 years either. And it's not like you've been in the scene for a year. You just you're not even in the scene.
I got to tell you, Danny, it felt great. I've never been hit on before. It was
awesome.
It was fantastic.
Awesome.
It was so nice. It was so nice.
It's
She was
awesome.
so pretty. Yeah.
She's got great taste.
Yeah. No,
Did you ask her if she mountain biked?
I did not. I didn't. Dan, I was so embarrassed. I said, you too. And then I literally did like the Homer Simpson, don't, I just walked away. I was like, oh, what did you just do?
And then the Homer Simpson meme where he sinks back into the bushes and just disappears, right?
Yes. Yeah. I pulled the Dan and just kind of slowly sank away into my chair.
Just slowly sink your chair. Yeah. Until you disappear onto the table. Well, she picked up on your energy, man. She picked up on your vibe, like, she likes what you were putting down. Yeah. She felt the confidence. She was probably thinking to herself, like, look at the single speed legs on this guy. Look at the calf muscles. He must be exclusively single speeding. Yeah.
Okay.
See the glutes on this boy? Excuse me. I couldn't help but notice. Are you exclusively single speeding at this point in your mountain bike career? How did you know I was even a mountain biker? Or, because the big fox shirt that I'm wearing to my job? Because the shirt that says, guess who is single speeding? This guy on the back. Guess who's faster than you on your gears?
Oh, we need a dating app for mountain bikers.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh.
Do you want to date a mountain biker? What's your feeling on that?
Oh, I don't know. I've always not dated people that I've, it's kind of weird. I've always liked people that were into outdoors, but I don't know if I could date a mountain biker, because it's kind of like, that's you and me time.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe I'm closing too many doors.
Yeah, I say anything's possible. Look, if a lady shredder steals your heart, she's absolutely welcome on our rides.
Yeah, that's true.
We have some people I know that mountain bike as a couple. Let us know if your husband or wife mountain bikes, if you want them to, and how does that work out for you? So as Sage starts to dip his toe into the mountain bike dating scene, dating new ladies, and also you'll be dating new bikes, which we call demoing also. Don't mix those up.
Bike app.
Yeah. Yes. Instead of a date, it's a demo. Oh, I love it. Yeah. I'm demoing this new chick I met on the internet. I'll take her out for a spin. And, I mean, it's the shop's girl, so I'm going to be pretty gentle with it. I don't want to bring it back with any scratches. This is all sounding very weird. Sounds like you're dating an android.
Yeah, that's right. You open up the app and it's just like bikes, and you're just like swiping, like nope, Kona, nope. Oh, Ibis.
Yes.
Oh, like.
Oh, DW link. Okay.
Must like, yeah.
I like long rides on tech and at sunset.
Must be able to climb well and downhill. Yes.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
We might
I'm
have
looking for
something on
someone
this.
who's good at ramp jumps, but maybe a little tentative on lippy jumps. Oh, this lady's speaking my language. This bike's speaking my language. I don't know what we're talking about anymore. Are we talking about women or bikes?
Something. I think we're onto something. Yes.
Yeah. We're
This
on to
could
being
be
a
a
couple
way
of
to
idiots.
match.
Oh.
No. A matching mountain bikers to bikes. And you type in all the things that you want, and then all these bikes come up, and then you swipe right or swipe left. It's fantastic. Please, come on. Yeah.
Well,
I
have thought about doing a podcast on like how to decide on which new bike to get, because that's always a really kind of a fun process. I think a lot of times it ends up narrowing down to what, if you have a bike shop, like what your bike shop supplies. I know that happens to me because my bike shop's so good that I'm like, okay, well, they only sell Specialized. So let me look at Specialized first and make sure that I don't want one of those. And usually I do. What's your process? I mean, I guess right now you don't have any money, so whoever wants to give you a free bike.
That's true. But you know what?
And you're still picky. You're still picky.
And I'm still picky. I know.
Yeah.
You know what, though? I've always been a fan of bike shops just because, and I've told you this. I think I've gotten you into this. It's like whenever I bought a bike, if you can buy it from a bike shop, first of all, you're helping them out, but then they're more willing to help you out. You know, I don't want to say that a bike shop wouldn't help you out, but if you buy a bike from them, they're going to go out of their way to really give you the support and service that you need. And here's the thing. I don't really care about the discounts as much as I need my bike immediately. You know, that's really important to me. If I break my bike on a Sunday, you know, I need it back before the next Sunday. Sometimes I need it back in a few days. And a bike shop, a good bike shop, you know, that cares about you, that knows about you, that you develop a relationship with, dude, they're going to get you hooked up. They're going to get you hooked up. And that to me is priceless. So I try to buy from bike shops.
Yeah. So I have my bike from Keswick Cycles, my Specialized, but I bought my Pivot on Backcountry because I got a great deal on that. And that's out in Arizona. And the bike shop I use out there is Action Bike Shop. And I've never bought a bike there. I bought a ton of gear there. But they just seem to be cool. Like they just seem to like get mountain bikers, and they've just always been really, really cool to me, which has kept me coming into the shop and buying their gear. And I think they recognize me at this point, you know, as someone who comes in and buys a lot of shirts and hats. Yeah. It's cool. I like it when a bike shop's got good gear. That's pretty dope.
When I went down to Arizona, I shipped my bike and the derailleur got messed up. Remember, we went to South Mountain that day, brought it to Action Bike Shop, and I guess they recognized you. They had me in and out that day. Dude threw it right onto the stand and just adjusted the derailleur because I know nothing about derailleurs. I'm the worst. He had me out and about less than a half an hour. Just a great bike shop.
They totally hooked us up. Yeah, they totally hooked us up. Listener, tell us about your local bike shop, or if you've been on a trip someplace. I think a lot of these destination bike shops understand when someone comes in and like, oh, I just flew in with my bike, and like, you know, if you could hook me up, you know, I think mountain bikers, you know, they get that, and but as far as the another reason for the bike shop is if you have a warranty issue. I can't tell you how many times now the bike shop is going to contact the bike manufacturer.
That's right.
They've got a relationship with them. They can negotiate a little bit better. So I've had Keswick go to bat for me before with amazing success with Specialized. Yeah. Not so much with Trek. Sorry, Trek, but Specialized was way better. But they also like if Specialized needs a bike back, they're going to break it down. They're going to put it in a box. They're going to ship it there. You know, so. Having those sorts of warranty things, that to me is a major win for why you would want to use a bike shop over, you know, buying it, you know, just directly buying it online, I guess, is because there's a lot of savings buying online, and there's a lot more options buying it online. Yeah. Did you see that Kona is back? Did you see that?
What? No.
Yeah. So the previous owners, the guys who sold it, who started it and eventually sold it, they bought it back from the capitalist investment banker pig dogs that ran it into the ground. Anyways, they're back. So I thought that was awesome. And they still have way too much inventory. So maybe that's a bike you want to take a look at.
You know, I've heard a lot of good things about Kona. I've never tried a Kona, but I've heard a lot of good things. Yeah, actually, my shop sells Kona, so maybe I'll ask them if they have any to demo.
What? Oh yeah. That would be awesome. Yeah, we got to start getting you on demo. So, all right, well, let's get into. We'll talk about our ride because you are still on a single speed, which is amazing because you're crushing on it. But there's full suspension things that we want to do. And I'm hoping when I get back from Arizona that we can start doing some full suspension things because your bike's back. You thought it was going to take a week, and we're in like week 4 of getting that chainstay repaired, the carbon repair. You've been incredibly patient, but it'll happen.
I mean, yeah, it'll happen when it happens. Absolutely.
All right, so we are talking about comments that we received from our awesome listeners. Thank you.
Yes.
On podcast number 17, Maximum Stoke on Each Ride, which came with 2 hot takes, if you're picking up a theme here. We had hot take 1, which is Fueling the Fire, where Sage talked about the awesome Fire Girls Women Enduro team.
Yes,
and
so good.
The second hot take, so good. The second hot take was Get Stoked to Get Stoked, and that's where we get more into the maximum stoke on each ride and talking about, just how to have more fun on each group ride. So I really enjoyed recording that episode. I felt really good after just talking about the ride.
Yeah.
How to make the most out of the ride. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still baffled by the people that still don't get it. That the people that like don't share that stoke. To me, that's every ride with you and I. Like that to me is what the ride is all about. If I don't finish the ride and we're not high-fiving and we're not fist bumping, what was the point? I just don't get it.
Dare I say, the people that don't get it, I don't think they're listening. You know what I mean? I think our listeners, listeners are listening because we're stoked on biking, and when they hear it, they're stoked on biking because they carry a high level of stoke and enthusiasm and joy, and we all we're all seeking that feeling. And why not just have that feeling as much as possible? Why not have that feeling of feeling good all the time?
It's right in our title, Ride and Laugh. It's right there. Oh, I don't know if you can see it there. Oh, there we go. Ride and Laugh.
Yes. Well,
If you're
listening on a podcast player, Sage is pointing at the laugh part of our logo.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still getting used to podcasting after 18 weeks.
You got such a strong YouTube bias. This is Ride and Laugh Podcast. Sheesh.
It's in the title. Oh, terrible.
All right.
Anyway.
So Rusty Chain, who we found out is actually Pat, who we met in the parking lot in Mount Fed. And awesome dude. So as talking about getting stoked, he commented about this story where his wife is getting into mountain biking. Speaking of which, his wife is getting into mountain biking, and so they're going up this long, slow incline, and she's like starting to peter out. She says, I don't think I can make it. And a hiker is coming the opposite way. This woman who was a complete stranger, and the woman sees Pat's wife like starting to struggle, and just turns into like mountain bike coach and just starts walking and running next to her saying, you got this, you can do this.
Yes.
And Pat's wife like motors up the hill and finishes, and this trail angel disappears into the ether. And Pat said from that point on, his wife had just like unlocked another level of effort. And now climbing is one of her fortes. It's like and so if he's struggling, she's right behind him. Look, you got this. Now she's encouraging him. So how cool is that?
Love that story. Isn't that awesome? That is what it's all about. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Go Pat's wife. That's awesome. Mrs. Pat.
Yes.
Good job.
Yes. And the universe providing a stranger, to just like come in and motivate you. Like, here's this person that's just gonna, and then she had it. She had it. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's very cool. Yeah. So very cool, Mrs. Chain. Ms. Chain?
Mrs. Rusty Chain. Yeah. Okay.
Pat's wife is like, I told you my chain is clean. It's not rusty. I want a different name, Patrick. You let those boys know that I keep a nice, clean chain. Meanwhile, Pat hasn't lubed his chain in like 14 years. He's like, look, I got a reputation. All right. Let's see. Sploosh MTB, Zan. Always a top commenter. Always got great content. Talking about the people that you ride with and having negative people versus positive people. And I know you've ridden with his group before and you like were raving about how much fun they were having.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, they are so, that group, I mean, they bust each other's you know what's, and it's just so much fun, but they're all doing it in good fun, you know, and not only are they busting on each other, but they're also encouraging each other. I mean, they'll stop. They do what we do. They stop at a place, they session, and all of them, they're all just cheering each other on. Oh my goodness, Dan, I've never had so much fun. They were hilarious. They didn't owe me anything. First of all, none of them knew me. You know, Zan just kind of invited me along on this ride, and they welcomed me with open arms. No, not at that time, but they just
kind of a big
deal. Yeah. They opened their arms, and it was just great. I mean, it was magical, man. He has a great group. Yeah.
Yeah. So he totally gets it. And then I thought this was interesting that he says something that he feels is useful is when he's out on a group ride is to switch up the order of everyone riding. So that some people can watch others and some people can be watched, and you know, maybe they can push each other in a different way. What's your take on that? Because I have an opinion on that, which maybe not be the same as Zan, but I'm open.
I like that idea. And actually, well, again, I might be biased because of the YouTube. Sometimes I like having a different person in front for a different perspective. Sure. But at the same time, who are we putting in front? And at what point? You know, if I'm on the single speed, you know, you put someone in front of me that's, you know, geared and, you know, in the granny, I no offense, but I got to get in front. Like I don't have a granny gear, you know, and
single speed is a different story. Let's take the single speed element out of it.
What's your opinion? Single speed out. Well, you know, I'm always catering to other people. You know, you're a far better downhiller than me. If we get to a downhill, I'm like, Danny, do you want to get in front? I don't want to slow you up. Up.
Are you talking to a different Danny right now? Or are you saying hypothetically? Hypothetically, if I was a far better downhiller than you, then you would tell me to go in front?
No, stop it. You crush it. You absolutely crush it. You know you do. You know you do. On anything, especially with jumps.
Did this woman slip something? Did this lady that you may slip something into your drink? You're drunk right now. Oh my gosh. I can't believe you're doing the podcast drunk. I've never even seen you take an alcoholic drink in your life. Was she smoking a ton of weed? You get a contact high or something? I mean, what's happening here? Far better downhill.
Yes, you are. Stop it. You're
maybe
great.
1 percentage point. Maybe 1 percentage point. If I'm top 20%, you're top 19. You're an awesome downhiller. Let's have this argument. I'm taking the gloves off. Yeah, you're an awesome downhiller. As long as there's no lippy jumps.
No, my friend, you. This is like the one we're just like arguing who's better. No, you.
Listener, what do you think? You. Listener, comment in with just a capital Y-O-U. It could be for either one of us. You. Who do you think is a better downhiller based on this horrible argument?
Horrible comments, yeah.
Sage has some really bad points, but you know what? Danny's points were worse, so... I'm going to go with Sage. They both had really bad points. This is a tough one.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's see. Are you dumber than a 48-year-old mountain biker?
Yeah, right. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you are because you're 45. Yeah. 46.
Your point is how do
what was my point?
It depends on who's in front of me and at what point.
That's right.
Yes.
We were talking about that. Yes.
Yes. Like if we are doing, so on a downhill, I like to have you in front. If we're doing slow speed tech, I like to be in front. I feel like that's where my strength is. And if I put somebody in front that I know is going to knock me off my game, because slow speed tech can have some big consequences. And if I put somebody in front that isn't as comfortable, in certain situations, that could put me in a dangerous spot. So yeah, it depends on who. It really does. And what the scenario is.
I totally agree. And maybe because we do different types of riding than Zan and his buddies do, though I've seen him put a lot of videos out of Michaud and that sort of thing. But I totally agree. I feel like when you ride in a group, a natural order starts to develop where it's like, you know what, on climbs, especially like maybe even changes per day, you know what I mean? But like on climbs, like if you have 5 people, it's like, okay, I feel like, I'm going to be third in this group. And on downhills, I want to be in the top 2 in this group, or on downhills, like I definitely want to be in the bottom 2. I don't want to feel like I'm holding someone up. And so that natural order kind of starts to develop. And then sometimes there's that one rider who just doesn't seem to have any clue that everyone else has picked up on the order. we used to ride with Gary Johnson. Gary always just like put himself in wherever. And I was like, Gary, get out of the way. But that was old Dan. I'm much more patient now.
Yes.
Am I more patient on the mountain bike? I think I am.
You are so much more patient. Yes, absolutely.
We also don't ride with anyone that can't keep up. Like we have a very, it's you, me, and Stick, and we're all, I think, pretty strong, similar type of riders, and we all defer very much. Like Stick, just like you and I, would be like, hey, I'm not feeling it today, or I take longer to get warmed up. You guys go in front. But I got no problem putting Stick in front with if he's like peaking and his training and he's feeling really good, and I'm dragging or something like that. Like Stick, definitely go for it. But
I do think that our riding group, which is pretty small, but we are very self-aware of where, first of all, what our strengths are, but also knowing when we're having a weak day, which is exactly what you were just saying. You might think that I might be a better downhiller in certain situations, but I also know when I'm not feeling it. I'm like, Danny, I'm just not feeling it. Just please go ahead. I'm just going to take up the rear. You got to know thyself. Now, riding with Zan and his group, I do think that he's a lot more laxed. His rides are more about, I don't want to say it's like we don't have fun or enjoyment. It's a different kind of fun. Like I can't explain it. Like there's a competitiveness to you and I and Stick's riding. Like there's definitely a competitive nature, which again, this is why we were arguing we don't race, but our rides are very, like we push each other. If I'm going to climb and I'm starting to crank it up, you're not like, well, I'm going to take it easy. You're like, no, I'm going to keep up as much as I can. And same with a downhill. I'm not going to let you out of my sight when we're on a downhill. If I can prevent it.
I haven't ridden with a different group in so long that I almost don't even know what other group dynamics are. I have to try a couple different groups. I'm group curious.
You're group curious. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because when I don't ride with you, I just ride solo. Typically, I mean.
Right. Well, let's contact Zan.
All right. Well,
maybe he'll have both of us.
Yeah. So as I explained last episode, people are going back and listening to previous episodes and we're leaving comments, and we love that. That's awesome. So thank you. So going back to episode 8, single speeds, less gear equals more everything.
Okay.
We had an email come in from Stephen Farnsworth, and he was like, hey, I enjoyed the podcast, love the single speed episode, and he's telling me his single speed story, and it's quite remarkable. So I thought I would throw this in there. He bought a Spot Rocker belt drive single speed.
Yeah.
About a year ago. He's already got 2,000 miles on it, Sage.
Whoa.
And he did a 76-mile gravel ride on this bike.
Oh my gosh. My gosh. Dude, Spot makes some great bikes. I've always wanted a Spot. Yeah.
One of the few bikes you see that comes like that you can get it stocked with a Gates belt drive. I always thought that was
crazy.
Really cool. So, but he's had similar, not the same, but he's had issues with the belt drive. Stephen, let us know. Write in the comments. Are you thinking about getting rid of the belt drive, or have you found? And what do you like about it? Anyone that uses belt drive, let us know if what are the things that you prefer about the belt drive, and if you've had the issues that we talked about. But he says that the tension has to be pretty perfect. He heard us talking about the bike flexing, and he said he hadn't really thought about that could be a thing. I think that spot is probably steel or aluminum. Is it carbon?
The spot's all carbon. Yeah, Spot only does carbon. I'm pretty sure. Stephen, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Spot only does carbon bikes.
Does carbon flex the same way that
it does
not the same way a titanium frame would?
They can make carbon more flexible in certain spots, but it's nowhere near like steel and titanium. Those frames like literally flex out to the point where your belt is popping off of the of the thing.
I know it was the frame. Yeah, because I could tell when I was pulling on the bars on my titanium frame. I could tell that was when it just made sense that was when the cog was starting to slip. But then he got to 1,500 miles on the belt drive, and he had worn down. It took him a while to troubleshoot it. He had worn down the rear cog so much, just enough really, where it started to slip a little bit. So, but if you get 1,500 miles on a belt drive, you're doing pretty well. Stephen, have you broken belts? I am curious. Sage and I both totally flamed out on our belt drive. In fact, moving into the next subject is our rides of the week, and we rode on Sunday. We both rode single speeds, and we rode them at a place called Salisbury. We call it Sal's. It's officially known as Walking Purchase Park. It's in the Lehigh Valley near Allentown, I guess. Is it closest to Allentown?
Allentown,
right?
Yeah.
And this is the ride where you broke your belt drive. And
that's right.
Threw it away. It was a long walk back to the car.
Back. Yeah, never went back. Yeah. Sal's is a pretty unique place. I think they have the Steel City Enduro there every year. So it's legit. Like it's legit. And we're always surprised at how exhausting it is. Like we're always like, we look at the Strava before the ride. We look at it after the ride. And I mean, this obviously depends on where your fitness level is. But for us, 8 to 12 miles, that's on the smaller side of our rides. And then it's probably about 1,500 feet, which again is on the smaller side of our rides.
What did we finish with on Sunday? Because we had a little bit more because we did, right?
We'd had a lot of repeat. Yeah. And I can't remember what the numbers were, but we were still under 2,000 feet. And it was probably around like 12 miles. I was exhausted. I was done. Yeah. I was done. Yeah. It was so exhausting. I don't know what it is about that place.
It always seems like it's a really good place to bring a single speed. But then we're just completely wiped out afterwards. It's the kind of place, listener, that it's just, here we get to define the term. It's just babyheads.
Oh,
that's another, we got to write that term. That's a great term to ask someone. I think about this all day now. Of like, what would someone say? Yeah. Like who doesn't know what mountain biking is. I was listening back to one of our old podcasts, and I talked about case, and I was explaining case, and I was like, oh yeah, that would, like, there's no way someone would be able to guess what that is in the context of mountain biking. Babyheads? I mean, who's the genius that came up with this one? Like, really? That's what we're calling rocks?
That's the best analogy. Yeah. Babyheads? Yeah.
Babyheads. That's ridiculous. I mean, this is a laughing podcast, and I don't even have to make a joke. I can just say baby heads. We call rocks baby heads.
Done. Yeah.
So, Sage, what do mountain bikers mean when we say that a trail is full of baby heads? It sounds really weird to say. All of a sudden, it's such part of the nomenclature. Yeah. It's just part of the vernacular. Like I never think about it, but now that I say baby, every time I say it now, it sounds horrible. But it's a real term. I'm not making this up.
Yeah. I guess if I had to guess where the term came from, it's full of rocks that would, I guess, be the size approximately of a baby's head. So think of like
just barely like half sticking out of the ground, right?
Yeah. But here's the thing. I guess if you were a non-mountain biker just getting into, you'd think that, then they must be round. They're not. A baby head does not have to be round. They can be pointy. It's strictly
They're not
talking about the
anatomically
size.
correct.
That's right. Yeah. We're strictly talking about the size. So anything under, I would say, a basketball would be considered a baby head, but it has to be bigger than, let's say, a softball. So in between a basketball and softball, anything like that would be considered a baby head. So, and this place was full of them.
For the record, everybody, they're not human babies. These are babies made out of rocks. Does that make us feel better? These
rock babies?
These are rock babies that, are, I guess, buried under the ground, but that's where they want to live. It's all good. It's all very positive, normal thing. Now, go ahead and, Sage, if you could explain what toddler feet are for everybody, go ahead. I'll wait. And adolescent nostrils. Go ahead. I'll wait while you explain it. Well, it is one of the weirder terms that we have in mountain biking, but baby heads is essentially just like a rock garden, which makes much more sense. A rock garden is just a big pile of rocks. There's a big pile of rocks that you could ride over if if you were growing rocks, that's what it would look like. So
that's right.
So baby heads is a type of rock garden.
I was just about to say, rock garden would be a little bit more serious. So rock garden would have rocks that are bigger than a basketball. So we were saying a baby head would be anything under a basketball size. A rock garden, it can be much more intense. And so you really have to, like, sometimes when you're picking your way through a baby head, you could just kind of crush it. You just straight line it, because there's no
baby
real
heads.
good line.
You can't see through a baby head. One baby head is no problem. It's the amount of baby heads. You don't, right? One baby head, you can just go around them.
Look out for the baby head.
Yeah. It's not even something that you wouldn't tell people be careful of the baby heads. Like, baby heads aren't big enough to knock you off of your bike.
That's right.
They're just big enough to just kind of like add a lot of effort. You have to pedal through it. So it's just a certain size of rock, really. I mean, it's really a weird term.
It really, I just got a visual of like somebody calling out a baby head. Just like one baby head, and you'd be like, what?
Then it would sound weird.
Then it would.
If you said the trail, like, this trail is just full of baby heads, you would be like, okay. But if someone was like, be careful after the second berm, there's a baby head, you would be like, what?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Like an actual
one? Yeah, we don't say one, dude. We don't just say one baby head. That's creepy. There has to be multiple baby heads.
Are we talking about a real baby head? Like, wait.
No children were harmed in the construction of this trail. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
So a lot of work, pedaling the single speed, pedaling a hardtail. It's very punchy place. And then it's got a few. Nothing is easy. There's very few smooth trails. Though the trail work there in recent years, do you remember who does the trail work there? Because it's been really, really good.
Yeah. If I'm going to take a guess, I think it's Valley Mountain Bike Club, right? Or something like that. I'll put it in the description below, but those guys and girls are killing it. And I'm not talking about like old trails that they're revamping. They are building new trails and they're doing an amazing job. They're taking old trails, putting and maintaining them, putting jumps in it, little kickers. They're taking trails that didn't exist and building these really great bermed out lines. I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. I did feel like the single speed was outmatched. Like on a certain couple of those things, I couldn't get the crank spinning fast enough to be able to enjoy it. But then on the other hand, in the rock gardens, they were beautiful. They were perfect.
Look, single speeds have limitations for sure. The pros is that you get this great workout. Yeah.
Also, you don't have to worry about your derailleur.
You don't have to worry about your derailleur, which is
with the rock gardens and the skinnies.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, so we did hit a couple skinnies. First, let's talk about. So we do this really big climb, and up until like. We only go to this place maybe once or twice a year, but up until very recently, no one had gotten it on the single speed. I think we've single speed there like 90% of the time. I mean, we almost always single speed there.
That's true. Yeah, I guess you're right.
And no one had gotten it on the single speed until very recently. I know I got it last year. I think you got it also without dabbing, but it's a really long climb. It's got a lot of tech in it, just a lot of baby heads, a lot of work, even on the flat parts. And then there's like these really steep switchbacks into more tech and some more baby head rocks and rock gardens and a couple false flats, and then more switchbacks, and then you're finally at the top. And you were just beast moding up this thing. Did you even feel close to dabbing?
No, I didn't struggle at all. I think again, I think it's just having all those rides under my belt, those false flats, by the way, is there any worse feeling? Like there's no, I honestly, like I got to the thing and I forgot that it kept going. I relaxed and I was like,
false top. You said false flat.
False top. Yeah. I did say false flat. That's terrible. False top.
It's a real flat.
False flat. No. This
What's
one's
a false flat? You're on a flat trail right now. No, I'm pretty sure I'm still going up. No, it's
false.
Flat. False.
False.
Fake flat. Hashtag fake flat. I think we're still going up. I don't think this is flat. I don't think this is flat at all. All right, so we know what a false flat is. It doesn't exist. What's a false top? What do you mean so you get to the top of the climb? What's a false top?
and I got to tell you, Sal's has a few of these. When you think you get to the top, you think you've crested it. And then it goes up another. Yeah, you think it's over, so you relax, and then it goes up. And man, the false tops on this mountain are ridiculous. Like it only punches at maybe 10 or 15 feet at a time, but they're just full of baby heads, and they're just straight up, and they just wipe you out. And it's a mindset thing, because you think that you're done the climb, so your body just kind of like relaxes a little bit. You go down like maybe 2 feet or 10 feet, and you're like, why is this thing punching up again? And it's
this is a false flat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's different on the single speed because on gears, you could always put it into the granny gear, which is the biggest gear in the back and the quickest to spin. So we call that the granny gear because it's the easiest one. But you could always shift into granny, sit there and just spin a high cadence. And spinning a high cadence kind of starts to work your cardio system more than your legs. But when you're on a single speed, you're in a tiny little gear in the back.
Yeah.
And so there is no spinning. You're sitting down like wherever you can to just kind of take a rest and try to like initiate your hamstrings a little bit and try to get some other muscles involved. But if there needs to be any speed to get through these technical parts, to blast through a rock garden or to be able to flow through baby heads, you need to be able to have speed. You can't, so you have to stand up and just push and push and push and push. And so this big climb at Sal's, we do it the first time, and we knew we were going to do it twice because there's a new enduro line they put in. Do you remember what it was called? Nacho
Supreme. Yes.
And it's awesome.
God, delicious.
I'm sure it's like even more fun with gears because we couldn't get fast enough. As soon as we touched the brakes, we couldn't get fast enough. They have
it was over.
A lot of these like kind of bermed hip jumps. And they're really, really well built in that, like if you were to take it all the way up at the top, you could actually clear a gap. But at the bottom, it's much safer. So you can still hit the berm and still kind of like do a little gap. It's really well built, really, really well built. Obviously machine built and built with some expertise. And so you go from like this like techie, rocky kind of just chunky trail. All of a sudden you're flowing and berms and jumps. I cleared a couple of them. My action camera was like, you dusted me right away. You're so much more comfortable on that bike right now than I am. So I didn't get video of you, but also as soon as I got into the attack position, the camera just faced straight down onto the top tube. And it doesn't on my full suspension bike. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we did the enduro line and then we climbed back up. We knew we were going to do that.
And
then we kept riding and we found a new trail that we decided to try, and it was a blue trail, and they had put all these kickers in. What do we mean by kickers? What's a kicker on a trail?
So the kicker is usually going to be off to the side, and it's usually either a mound of dirt or a rock placed and allow you to get some air. Just clear a, I don't want to say a gap. There's not usually a gap, but it's usually clearing some kind of a jump. But they're usually trail side, so it's optional.
Yeah.
You can choose to hit them or you don't. And this trail, I forget what the name of it now was. It was like Boulder Alt or something like that. It was phenomenal. And it wasn't new. It was always there, but they had revamped it. And my goodness, it was wonderful. It's exactly what this trail needed.
Yeah. It's a blue trail, so it's relatively easy. It was a kind of a flow trail. But so if you wanted to like hit these kickers, which we were, it was just like a lot of hooting and hollering. And then we get down to the bottom, and we're at the bottom of the Boulder Trail, which is like the main reason that we go to Sal's is for the Boulder Trail. It's not that long, but it's
right. Yeah.
Is it a double black? Do they have it as a double black?
No,
I don't think it is a double black.
No, it can't be. It can't be. No, there's
it
no
might
risk.
be on Trail Forks, but yeah, I don't think it's a double black, but it's certainly a very technical black trail. Maybe less so.
Yeah.
I don't know how hard it is on a full suspension bike. On the single speed, it's pretty tough though.
Yeah, you know what? No, that's tough on the full suspension as well. Because, with the single speed, I was glad that I actually didn't have to worry about the derailleur. That's what I was saying about that. That boulder field is legit. And I got away with a lot of things with the single speed that I probably wouldn't have tried on the full sus. Like that one rock over right at the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a I want to say 130-degree turn at one point. Yeah, maybe that's too far. You know what I'm talking about? There's that rock where you turn almost. How far do you think? I don't know. I don't know how many degrees.
130
Every
degrees,
time we fall 130. Every time we fall into math in this podcast, it just gets off the rails very quickly.
I know. And
I'm Asian. Guys are just talking about baby heads. I mean, what good is having this Asian guy?
Terrible.
You need to bail me out on the math. Yeah,
I know. I got nothing.
Next time we'll bring a protractor. I don't know what to tell you, everybody, but it's a very sharp turn on a very small rock. And the trail bike is semi enduro bike is very long, and my single speed is very narrow, so it does make that turn better.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so we did the boulder field. That was really cool, and then there was more all out riding and a few other pretty interesting spots. Until we got to the skinnies. What are the skinnies? There's two skinnies there. One of them was solidly intermediate, which you did no problem. I bailed on 3 times before I got it. But the other one's really hard and has a really crazy ending. What was that one like?
Yeah, that one that's not easily noticeable from the trail. So you'd be forgiven if you missed it. Actually, if you do the skinny that you were talking about, Danny, and you look backwards, you'd see the exit for it, which is, there are 2 options, but we do the drop off. But to get up onto this thing, there's a little crook in the log. I could not get onto it. I've done it in the past, but I could not get onto it this time, and I actually tweaked my back a little bit. So then I gave up.
Yeah.
And the straight line's hard too. I mean, the straight lines. Yeah. So, but you got it. You were a little bit nervous, but you got it.
Well, you demonstrated it with such ease. What makes the straight line difficult is the ending.
Right. Yeah. It's a big pedal kick at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. So the skinny ends like a drop. So you could roll it on a 29er. It would probably be pretty uncomfortable. Sage did it much faster and had a nice pedal kick. Your pedal kick game is just on point. I went fast enough that I was able to pedal kick off of it. And you have to go back to the 5 most important skills if you want to know what a pedal kick is, because we go into great detail on that one. So if you haven't listened to that episode, definitely check that out. So we used the pedal kick to get off of this skinny. And I did it smoothly enough that I was able to roll right into the next one. Yeah. And I just didn't trust that my back wheel was tracking on that. So I was getting nervous because it had a little bit of a bend in it. And I did an awesome pedal kick bail off of the second skinny. And I think
Yes,
my
you
pedal
did.
kick, is unlocked in like case of emergency only.
Yeah,
Like I don't think I can just activate it. Yeah, like I think if there's an emergency, I can my body's like, okay, activate pedal kick, of course. But otherwise, it's like you don't actually know how to do this. This is for emergencies only. Like you don't. My body's like you don't actually know how to do this scale. It's like but then when I need it, it's there.
Oh, it's so true. Yeah, you
I
you
only
are
use it
good
in
at
an
it.
emergency. Yeah, that was a
When you
great
need
pedal
it,
kick.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then when I tried to
know.
demonstrate at Brandywine, I fell on my face. Twice. Yeah, I actually got hurt doing that. I don't think I was in the right gear. That is the thing. The single speed, you are in the right gear for a pedal
That's
kick.
it.
Like, because you need to be in a hard gear for a pedal kick. So
Yeah.
you are in the right gear.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a really good point,
That
Danny.
was pretty funny. Yeah, you could not get. Unfortunately, we don't really have video. Maybe your action cam shows. Does that show the video of how skinny the beginning of that skinny is? Like how crooked that is?
Yeah, I'll see if it does. It was the problem was it was really overcast that day, and if you know anything about action cameras, holy moly, they are terrible in low light, especially when you have to get the hyper smooth in the GoPro or in DJI, it's Rocksteady. Your Rocksteady was unbelievable, which is why I wanted you to get that camera because the low light is unbelievable.
Tell me about
And
this for a second, because we haven't. You've been working a lot this week. Anyone that knows TrailSage is he's doing the podcast, he's editing the podcast, he's doing the channel, he's editing the channel, he's getting footage for all these things, and then on top of that, he also freelances and does some pretty heavy lifting. With what kind of work would you call that? I guess
I'm doing production
freelance
now.
production
doing
work,
camera work,
and those are really long days. So normally Sage and I have talked about a lot of this stuff, but yeah, what would you say there was a difference between the DJI that I got, and we'll have to get into that a little bit more on a different pod, versus the GoPro that you use as far as the light? Because it was really dark that day.
It was not even close, Danny. This is exactly why I told you to get the DJI. Your
the DJI was better.
Light, yes, and this is exactly what we was talking about. The 10-bit color. You don't do post production, but for me, I can take your footage and I can actually raise the blacks and actually recover the whites because you're capturing so much more information in 10-bit. Now, if you're someone that doesn't do post production, that might not mean as much to you. But it also means that because the ISO, what's picking up the film is much bigger. So you have a bigger sensor inside of your camera, which means it's able to take in more light. So in low light situations like overcast, it's able to rescue some of the foot. Like if you look at mine, my footage is just grainy, and then the what do they call it? The hyper smooth. It stops working because it's just there's not enough light.
The hyper smooth is the stabilizing software.
Is the stabilized. That's right. And DJI they call it Rocksteady.
For hardware.
Your footage was completely watchable. It was no problem.
I thought it looked good.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, your front tire looked amazing.
How did the top tube of the bike look? That's mostly what you saw.
The stem looked amazing. Yeah,
I know. And I didn't even. I deleted like half of it. I didn't send you the stuff that was just all top tube. Yeah, I know.
Top tube. This guy's top tube. So, let me tell you.
Yeah, Oof. Yeah. That's polished.
Swipe.
Put that in your write up. Put that in your write up on your mountain bike dating. Yeah.
This guy's top tube.
I polish my top tube once a week. Oh, you know what? I'm actually looking for someone to help polish my top tube.
Oh my god!
Now it's getting a little too blue. The kids listening, they're like, "What? I don't understand."
Is this the same guy that has no pedal kick? No. This guy's pedal kick game is way weak. Yeah. Shiny tube.
Do you think someone's going to polish his top tube when he can't even pedal kick? Like, I don't think those things go together. Yeah. Is he killing babies or something? Was I listening to the same podcast? This guy's a psychopath. All right. Conversation, as usual, has degraded into tomfoolery. So we had a great time at Sal's.
We did.
And
we did.
I know you did not have another chance to ride, but I got another chance to ride. My beautiful 13-year-old middle school daughter was off of school, and we had a morning together because I had took the day off because I was going to her sister's elementary school graduation. And it's just like sometimes these things just come together. You know, my wife's out of town, and if my wife was here, I would absolutely go to work, and she would have gone to the graduation, and I would have been like, "How was it?"
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful for the experience I got yesterday. Like everything just worked out so well. So I said to my daughter, I said, I was going to go mountain biking in the morning before your sister's graduation. I said to Ella, but if you want to go for a ride, then we can go for a ride together. Or if you want to check out that Phoenixville Bike Park, which is this bike park they opened up in a town about 20 minutes from us. I know that you and Stick went, so you understand what it's about. And she said, yeah, the Skills Park sounds cool because we had gone to the Blue Marsh. Is it Blue Marsh Skills Park? Is it?
Oh,
is
yeah,
it Blue Marsh?
that's right. Blue Marsh is a skills park,
Yes.
Yeah.
I always get, there's so many blues and marshes here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Like there's
Marsh
Blue Mountain
Creek,
and Marsh
Blue
Creek
Marsh.
and Blue Marsh.
Yeah.
There's just too many blues and marshes. But it's anyways, she really enjoyed that. That was like probably 2 years ago. And so she said, yeah, okay, let's check it out. And so we went, and I just followed her on the beginner line. She's mountain biked before. She's got like a little hardtail. It's entry level, of course. It's a little GT stomper. Mechanical disc brakes don't work all that well. But you know, and it's got like a pretty basic shock on it, but it's good enough for very beginner mountain biker. You know, I'm not going to spend a ton of money unless she's real interested in it. And so we just ran that beginner line over and over and over, and she looked really good. She looked really strong. She had really good position, of course. And I'm just coaching her through the whole thing. She was struggling with one of the berms, and we just kind of worked on it a little bit and talked about different angles to come in, and she started to get it. So she started to feel good about that. And there's like an entry level beginner drop that you can roll.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a drop on that trail, and she saw that, and she was like, well, do you think I could do that, Daddy? And I was like, I do. And it was really cool walking her through it. Like she looked at it. I showed it to her a bunch of times, and she did a couple run-ups, and she just went up and she just did it, and she just rolled it. And she was like, oh, God, that was so easy. You know, like what was I so nervous about? And so then she's like, how do I drop it? How do I get both wheels to land at the same time? And so we start talking about manualing versus wheeling and moving your hips back. And man, this kid, like just athletically, just like really just has an aptitude. She just picks things up really quickly. And so great. She starting to get her hips back and starts actually like dropping it like a drop.
All right. Yes.
Yeah. And she was so excited. She was so stoked. I followed her through a couple times, so we have some footage of it. But she was so excited. And we rode about 5 miles on that beginner track, going around and around and around and around. And she was standing the whole time. She was pretty tired by the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I did do a couple of runs on the expert line. And I was nervous because those jumps look very steep. Yeah. But they're really well built. And I think they're very safe. And I got everything. I just didn't send that last one.
Yeah, it's big.
I just didn't have enough. It's big. Yeah. I had the speed. I started to feel good. If I went back the next day, or if I had another half an hour to just kind of like keep doing run-ups, I think I probably could have, or even if I followed someone through, I think I probably would have sent it. It felt good. I was really close, but I also am not used to jumping that bike. So, but I didn't want to spend too much time on it because I was just really focused on coaching my daughter and having fun with her. And she was so excited on the drive home, and we were fist bumping. It was just really a special moment and really, really cool. I don't ever pressure her to ride. If they want to ride, then they're welcome to. That's not my style. But when your kid like gets into it and enjoys it, and we just spent like such quality time together doing something that we both were enjoying. It was really cool. It's really fun.
Yeah, I do want to add, I have been to that park. Like you said, I went when they first built it. Stick and I went. And the thing that if you are in the Phoenixville area or you're in the Philadelphia area, it's definitely worth a visit. And the reason why is the jumps are made of wood. So the landing is dirt, but the jump itself is made of wood. And the reason why that's unique or good is because you get a consistent takeoff every time. It's consistent, and obviously, if it's wet, don't ride it. It's wood. But I mean, there's something to be said about getting a consistent, okay, I know exactly what's going to happen because it's the same jump every time. When you're doing dirt, sometimes the entrance changes a little bit, or it gets a little worn out. No, this will be the same every time. So I will leave a link to my video if you're interested in checking out the Phoenixville Bike Park. Definitely go. I forget who sponsors it. I think it's More Kids on Bikes or something like that. MORE. In any case, they do a fantastic job there. There's a lot of maintenance that goes into that place. It's wonderful. Definitely check it out.
So I want to ask the listeners if you have been to the Phoenixville Bike Park or if you've been to a similar bike park with these kind of wooden, consistent ramped jumps. Because the intermediate line, wooden lippy jumps. The intermediate line has wooden ramped jumps. So if you can just do regular jumps, you can start getting air without having the lippiness of like a dirt style jump. So
that's right.
If you've been to Phoenixville Bike Park or any other bike parks like this, because there's quite a few around the country and more popping up, which is awesome. There should be one in every town. I think it's fantastic. But I had my aggressive hardtail there, which is very, very slack, has a lot of suspension, it's very long. Would I be better off bringing my dirt jumper?
Absolutely.
Which it doesn't have that much suspension, but it's much smaller. And these berms, after you jump, the berms are really tight. It's really small.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I actually felt like I might have been on the wrong bike.
Yeah, dirt jumper for sure. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
It's in the name. People are listening.
Yeah,
it's like it's called a dirt jumper. Well, I know, but I'm not as comfortable on it. I've never actually hit jumps on the dirt jumper, except in Maryland that one time.
Listen, it's one of those places, Dan, you just bring a bunch of bikes with you. The lot's not that far from so you bring like the full suspension, you bring your Banshee, you bring the dirt jumper, and you just swap out bikes. You make a day of it. It's a really fun place to progress.
Let us know, listener, if you have been there, what kind of bike you rode, or if you've been to other similar bike parks, what kind of bikes that you ride, and what's your experience. I mean, is it more comfortable having a full suspension? Because then if you feel like if you case, you're better off. Or just a small little dirt jumper, is that gonna do you better? So let us know what you think about these bike parks, what kind of bikes to ride. Let us know what you think about babyheads. Going back to that thought though, like as far as like when we bring someone on and start asking them what do these mountain bike terms mean? Yeah. There's no way that they're gonna get some of these terms are just like so weird, like babyheads. I'm looking forward to that episode, even though.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what they come up with. Yeah,
we can do it several times. We're going to have to do it several times. We can get like a list of 20, and then like every few months, we'll just do an episode where we bring someone on for 10 minutes and just be like, okay, what's this? And this, and this, and this. Yeah.
Yeah. We could do 2 people at a time. And if they're funny, they could actually riff off of each other. It could be a whole thing. I don't know.
We'll bring on a comedian. Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
I'd bring Zan on, but he knows what everything is already. You got to find someone that doesn't know anything.
Yeah. Oh, double lanky. I'd be outmatched. Yeah. Lanky power.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Our as he said, we would be 2 billowing sails in the wind. So that's
that's right.
It'd be too much for you. All right. Mountain bike gratitude of the week.
Yes. I got a good one.
You want to get started?
I got a good one. Yeah. I'm so grateful. I'll keep it short. There's no bad gratitudes. I'll keep it short because I know we're coming up on it. I'm so grateful for my friend Jess, who keeps calling me in on these jobs, and I don't make a lot of money, and these jobs are they're hard work, but they don't take up the whole week. It's literally 2 days. It gets me enough money to kind of survive, and I'm so grateful to Jess for hiring me for these things. And I don't know what to say except thank you. Thank you. It means a lot.
Well, thank you, Jess. I would like to tie this into mountain biking because gratitude is gratitude, and we can never have too much gratitude. So 100% thank you, Jess. But I want to tie it into mountain biking because you get these jobs, you're able to sustain your passion for doing TrailSage and ride and laugh full time, and to be able to ride more So without having to get that other full-time job, is that safe to say?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that it forced me to keep riding, obviously, because I couldn't even afford to
actually don't
my
have any
bike.
bikes left.
Yeah.
You've heard of false flight? He's got a false bike.
You know what, though? He's got a false bike. No, but you know what, though? It affords me to eat, and being able to eat allows me to have energy, and energy to ride my bike. There you go. I've linked it all together.
Right. All right, a little bit of a stretch there, I think, but we'll go with it. Let's go with it.
There you go.
Gratitude,
You go.
Absolutely. Gratitude is gratitude.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Thank you,
no
Jess.
problem with that. And my mountain bike gratitude is going to be touchy feely. It's going to be people also, and you know, I had such a wonderful day yesterday. My elementary school, my little girl graduated from elementary school, was so sweet, and she was all smiles, and her teachers love her, and she got these big hugs, and she was so happy that Daddy was there. I could see her looking for me and just lighting up when she saw me standing up. The big lanky guy in the back taking pictures and dancing to the music as they were, you know. So I don't think she's embarrassed by me, but she's my kid, so. I mean, I love my girls. Anyone that knows me, I very much love being a dad to girls, and we go for walks every day after dinner. So we do spend a lot of time together, and we do daddy adventures. But getting to spend some one-on-one time with Ella on the bike, and really having her light up, and then also being out to breakfast with her, and then afterwards, just having her be so stoked and so excited. That was really cool. So I have really awesome kids. I have really awesome family. And so that's something I write in my gratitude journal. I haven't talked about the journal a little bit, but I still write in my gratitude journal, and I write about my kids all the time, and to see them thriving and happy and being good people, that just, I can't ask for anything more as a dad. So that's my mountain bike gratitude of the week.
All right.
What's our
mountain bike tip?
Yes.
I got an equally short mountain bike tip, and this is a good one. Save your old toothbrushes. It sounds dumb, but I got to tell you, the old toothbrush
the top tube's
is
not going to clean itself.
That's not what I would use the toothbrush for cleaning. Oh my God, you'd be there for hours.
Damn. Still don't know how to clean that thing.
Listen, you can buy really expensive bike cleaning kits, you know, that have all different size brushes. Forget it. I save all my toothbrushes, and I use it to clean the chain. I use it to clean the derailleur, all those hard nooks and crannies. That's my mountain bike tip. If you're new to mountain biking, save your toothbrushes. And also, dishwashing soap works just as good as degreaser. There you go. That's 2 tips. Wow.
That's good. Yeah, 2 tips, because I think tip number 1 might be a little archaic.
Really?
Yeah, I think most people use electric toothbrushes now, and so we just have those little tiny toothbrush heads we throw away.
Save your electric toothbrush.
What is that vibrating noise coming from the garage? You better not be polishing that top tube in there. No, honey, I'm cleaning the bike. My old electric toothbrush heads.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you might be like the only one that's not using an electric toothbrush. I think everyone's using electric toothbrushes now.
I love analog toothbrush. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No e-bikes, analog toothbrush.
Call me old fashioned. I like to pedal and I like to brush. I think your dating profile is coming together pretty well on this podcast.
Pretty
I think we got
nicely,
a lot. Yep. I think we got a lot of things to put in that profile. We're just listing off your must-haves.
Oh my goodness. I'll be single forever. Holy moly.
Wait a second. We're a complete match, but because I use an electric toothbrush? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Ow.
It's cheating. Like an e-bike. It's cheating. My dentist says it's cheating. I earned this good checkup. I earned it the old-fashioned way. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Holy
that's right.
crap.
All right. Well, if you're still listening, you've got a good sense of humor. You're definitely one of us.
One of us.
You love riding bikes. You love talking about bikes. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Rate and subscribe on your favorite podcast player. Rate and subscribe on YouTube. Give us a comment. Anything that's interesting helps the algorithm. And certainly if you want to send us a message or any pictures on rideandlaugh1@gmail.com, we're interested in seeing what you're riding, what you're up to. You can comment on this episode or any of the past episodes, anything that comes to mind. We're interested. We appreciate you. We love you. Get out and ride your bikes, everybody. Ride and laugh.
I'll see you, everyone.